Very warm welcome to the Sangha house here in Taunton. My name's Warwick Lydiate, and among enjoying some of the health and well-being fitness routines and sessions that are on offer at the Sangha house, one of the things that I do is to teach the Enneagram. And this here is the Enneagram. We've done a few sessions now, and hopefully you've been following them. If you have, perhaps you'd think about subscribing to the channel, the Sangha House channel. You can look in and see what's going on at the Sangha House through that, and also through the website. And if you're in the Taunton or Somerset area, it would be good to look in and see what goes on here, the number of activities going on here every single day of the week. So we've been looking at the Enneagram, which is in a Greek word, a strange Greek word that means figure of 9. And we've been seeing how there are these 9 points around this circle that indicate a collection of energies, a particular focus of energies that create within us personality types. And there are 9 of them. This has been around for quite a long time now, but the Enneagram is something that's always been evolving. Certainly over the last 100 years, and particularly I would say over the last 25, 30 years, a lot of developments in the approach to studying personality. One of the things I neglected to remind us last time was the fact of moving around the circle. Type is affected by the type next to us. So, for instance, type 2, the helper. I will just remind you of all the 9 types. Type 1 is the reformer. Type 2, the helper. Type 3, which we're going to look at in a little bit more detail today, is the achiever. Type 4, the romantic. Type 5 is the observer. Type 6, the loyal skeptic. Slightly unusual double-barreled name for the type 6. Type 7 is the adventurer. Type 8, the asserter. And type 9, the peacemaker. When we finish today, we'll have gone a third of the way round the Enneagram. So I was saying that your particular type is affected by the types either side moving around the circle of the Enneagram. So, for instance, type 2 we looked at last time can be affected very much by what are called the wings. The type a 2 with a 1 wing will pick up some elements of the reformer, sometimes called the perfectionist. Moving the other way, the 2 might pick up elements of the 3, which, as I say, we'll look at today. Something I've not mentioned yet are the lines going across the center of the Enneagram. And I will just start to tease that out. As we go through the types more, we'll see how these work. The wings, you kind of pick up on the energy of the wings anyway in personality type. The lines that go across the middle of the Enneagram are more like journeys. And these are routes that we take. They're more deliberate. We don't just kind of pick up on these. They're more deliberate. We undertake these journeys. They can be easy, some can be quite easy, some we slot into, some have to be thought about. Just for instance, thinking again about the type 2, the helper, you'll see that there's a line going down to 4 and a line going across to 8. So a type 2, the helper, and type 8 is the asserter. Just to give one example today, we'll look at these in more detail. But if 2 is the helper, The 8 is the asserter, and the 2 can very easily, when moving into the thought, the emotional space of the 8, can be a leader and can lead very successfully. And to pick up those characteristics, the 2 will kind of can pick up on those strengths and qualities of the 8. Similarly with the 4, which we'll look at another time. I don't want to say too much more than that at this stage, but just to give you a hint that these are kind of the journeys that we can make. So I'm giving you the basic colours, the patterns of the type, but we'll see there are pastel shades to be achieved as we move around the Enneagram. So the type 3, the achiever. Type 3s can be workaholics and really great achievers. Highly motivated people with masses of energy to get things done. They enjoy telling you what they do. They kind of very focused usually on work, the things that they are working on, the things that they are actually doing, and they enjoy telling you about that. But there's a lot of energy to get things done. 3s can be quite ambitious. So we'll pick up on that word in a little while. They're efficient because they like to get things done expediently. They like to get the job done, get the job finished. We noted when looking at the 1 will also like to get things done, but will be very meticulous about how something's done. The 3 just wants to get the job done efficiently and speedily. 3s are great networkers. They're very can be very sociable. It's a very sociable personality type, and often will use kind of parties or the social events to be networkers. This is where things get done, where connections are made to achieve yet more. Often very charming people, very, very sociable. And they want to achieve the very best they can, particularly in the work environment. It will start before the work environment. It will start at college. They'll want to get this exam, but they won't just want to pass it. They'll want to pass it well. They'll want to pass it, if possible, with a merit or a distinction or some other grading, higher grading. They'll be doing courses to improve their skills. They'll be looking out for courses. How can I improve? How can I get better at what I'm doing? How to improve that career option. But not only that, they'll keep going. 3s will keep going, not just in the workplace. They'll be busy doing other things outside the work environment, learning new skills, getting involved in social networking, getting involved perhaps in charities, that kind of thing, doing those things, doing extra things. All that makes it quite hard to relax. They want to be on the go. And like the 2, 3 and 4, I said when looking at the 2, we're in the heart space here. 8, 9 and 1 kind of connected with the energy of the body. 2, 3 and 4, we're into the energy of the heart. And each of those types will like folk to see what they're doing. The 3 will love to tell you what they're doing. And the 3 will naturally inspire kind of admiration, a kind of, how on earth do they do it kind of a mentality in those of us who are looking on. How do they do it feeling? So a few downsides to the 3, and if you're a 3, you may well pick up on some of these. Coming second is hard. you want to come first, ideally, or in a course environment, you want to get the very best that you can. Not getting the A grade or the A star grade will matter to you. You will feel that. May even be to the point of wanting to do a retake. There can be a sense that the 3 only feels lovable when succeeding. They want to impress folk, but they want to maybe sometimes impress certain folk who are very important to them. And I've said it's very hard to relax. There's a sense of competing with others, but being seen to be successful. This is very like the 2 and the 4. The 2 wants to be seen to be loving and kindly, compassionate towards others. The 4 wants to be seen to be meaningful and deep. So one other thing to say about the 3s, I'm quite pleased I mentioned the lines today moving across the centre of the Enneagram, because you'll note that the type 3 is in part of an equilateral triangle with type 6 and type 9. And you'll notice that the 3 is in the centre of the 2, 3, 4 group. The 6 is in the centre of the 5, 6, 7 group, which is the kind of the head energy, the mind, the focus on the mind. And the 9 is in the centre of the body types, the 8, 9, 1. And there are particular things about those in the centre, the types that are in the centre of that 3, 6, 9 triangle. So we're in the heart space. So for the type 3, emotions can sometimes feel as if they get in the way. So each of these, the 3, 6, and 9, are into kind of suppressing the dominant energy, pushing it down, trying to keep it out of the way, so that they can get on with being what they need to be doing. There's this tendency to squash the dominant energy. So in the heart center for the 3, the emotions can get in the way of achieving. I think if you can imagine, sometimes a parent will say to the teenager going off to college and university, be careful if you get involved in any amorous affairs of the heart, because you're there to work, you're there to get your degree, you're there to get this. That's a kind of natural thing for a parent to say. For the 3, that's going to be a natural feel on the inside. They're going to be feeling, well, if I get involved in this relationship, it's going to interfere with my work. It's going to interfere with my studies. So we need to keep that down. We need to keep that suppressed. That's the kind of energy that a 3 will feel. One of my Enneagram teachers said to me about 3s, emotions are like speed humps that get in the way of success, which I think is a very useful comment. Emotions are pushed down, perhaps ignored is a better word than pushed down. Just let's forget about that, shall we? So we can focus on what we need to do. So that generally is the feeling behind the 3. Some of just a little thumbnail sketch of the type 3. Now you know that each week I present a word from a beautiful book that I enjoy enormously, David White's book, Consolations, where he selects different words and gives full broad meanings of these words and explores kind of alternative meanings. I've selected today for the type 3 a word that I used earlier, ambition. And David White, very helpfully in my mind, compares the word ambition with the word vocation or calling, having a sense of calling. So for the three, the ambition is to succeed in your career and you kind of want to progress. But with a sense of calling, something outside yourself, a bigger power than you, has been calling you, perhaps drawing you into this particular career path. And if threes can learn to kind of think like that, let's listen to what David White says. He says, ambition, left to itself, like the identity of the average billionaire, always becomes tedious. Its only object, the creation of larger and larger empires of control. But a true vocation calls us out beyond ourselves, breaks our heart in the process, and then humbles, simplifies, enlightens us about the hidden core nature of the work that enticed us in the first place. A life's work is not a series of stepping stones onto which we calmly place our feet, but more like an ocean crossing where there is no path, only a heading, a direction, in conversation with the elements around us. I love that. So for the three, this kind of stepping stone of success of the career path takes on a new meaning. If you sense that God or the universe or whatever you want to call that, the power beyond ourselves is actually drawing us, calling us into this career path. It's suddenly not about us anymore. It's about the wider world, even the universe itself. It broadens the whole thing out. I hope you've enjoyed this little look at the type 3. I shall be back again next time looking at type 4, the romantic. In the meantime, stay tuned to Sangha House. Bye for now.